Alright, let's get started. Today is, what is it, Thursday? It is the 27th. Alright, it's the day that I usually pay rent. The 27th of June, 2019. And, I forgot to open my browser window to prepare for this. Shoot, this is failing. Failing. Test write filtered Python package. Huh. Oh, this is the test that I changed. So... cert false is not true. Awesome. Okay, well anyway, I'll fix that in a bit. But yeah, so on Tuesday I streamed and we worked on two smallish things and then talked about a bunch of other stuff, but I ran in all repos, right. Oh man, I forgot about this PR. We worked on these two things where we added a setting that let us fetch all the branches in all repos and some dead code detection based on double under all in dead. This ended up being just like a pretty easy patch where it was just like add a new setting and then finagle get in the proper way to make it work. That, and then this this one was way easier than I thought it was going to be. We wanted to make anything that's exported in double under all automatically marked as used. So we wrote a quick test that defined a function and then exported it in all. And before the change, these were what is the word? They were marked as used. But after the change, they weren't marked as used, they were dead. But after the change, they were marked as used. We did both tuples and lists with other things in them. That was that. We also... super not happy about this PR, which was kind of a bummer, but... so I noticed that pytest is using restructured text lint and using it in pre-commit and using a local hook, and it's a little bit clunky because of the versioning problems and stuff. And so I thought, oh, I will just make a PR upstream and add these 6 lines of metadata so that upstream can just manage this directly, and we can send people to this repository and get them a bunch of users and improve the community and all that jazz, but... Maintainer was like, the other guy didn't need this, why do you need this? Here's the docs for pre-commit. Like, my dude, I wrote the thing, I think I know what I'm talking about. And then he's like, explain all this shit for me, and then I wrote him an essay explaining all these things. And I spent like a good hour writing this up too. And then he's just like, there's more and more. Spend more and more hours on this, and he's eventually just like, no. So screw you, guy. Whatever. And then I talked about this last stream, but I implemented tox-devm, and then I went through all of the repositories that I had and auto removed the oh, is this red? Oh, probably just because I clicked submit real quickly. I removed all the VMs, or the testm VMs, because I don't need them anymore. And I used all repos to do that, which is why these all look the same. Did that. We found a bug in pytest on master as we were trying to release 5.0, and basically pytest was crashing while generating its docs. So we got this pretty funny automatically committed diff. Here. So The docs just crashed with this pretty awesome internal error. But I figured out the problem. It's module names that look like module names. Sorry, file names that look like modules. So this looks like a module named T in a submodule.py, but it's actually a file name t.py. And so I just added another exception to the except block, and that was enough to solve that. It was pretty good. Oh, and then this one came up at work. We have this kind of weird system that pre-discovers tests and tries to do it without the terminal plugin so that the output doesn't affect the overall system or whatever. And so we run with -p no terminal, which is a very weird case to be in for pytest. But anyway, we do it. And it turns out TB style does not get populated if you're running without this terminal plugin. And so this line was crashing, but only at lift. I wrote a test and then defaulted it to auto. Everywhere else in the codebase already had this line, so I just fixed that one, and that was this morning. Then I backported that patch, and I removed a comment. Other than that, nothing too interesting. Oh, but I did find a hilarious bug in Python 3.8 today. So let me show you that. And I actually found this well, kind of on accident. So for whatever reason, if you have an F string that looks kind of like this, and this is, oh wait, F string, yeah, we need an F. So if you have an F string with an empty substitution parameter, that is a syntax error. And you can see, like in Python 3.6, we run this and we get a syntax error. It's a little bit weird because you just see 3 quotes there. But in Python 3.8, we get this great output, which is a whole bunch of spaces. In fact, when I was testing it, it was right around like 4,000 spaces. -c. Pipe the standard error as well. We're at 4,900 spaces. Yeah. And it's actually based on the memory layout, so sometimes it's different, so more or less. But I found that bug, and I started working on fixing it. However, it looks like my tests are not all passing. Basically what I did was I changed this multi-line start so that it basically the way the tokenizer works is it reads a line, or it reads a chunk of text or bytes, and then tokenizes those bytes, and if a token spans more than one line, it will read more and then combine those two buffers and then continue tokenizing. And in the multi-line string case, the multi-line start pointer was not being reset. This one was, but not this one. So I needed to make sure that this still had the correct value. But apparently there's one test that is failing on this PR. So let's do that real quick, and then I'll jump into the pytest stuff. That is the branch I was on. So this was my test that I wrote, which before was spewing thousands of spaces here, but now is only doing the correct amount of spaces and pointing directly at the F string. Still a little bit of a weird syntax error, because like you would hope it would point here, but Python is not quite that clever yet. Build this, and while that's building in the background, it's going to take a while. I'm going to explain The other thing that I'm gonna work on today, well, the thing that I planned to work on until I noticed that that's is failing, which is getting the pytest 5.0 release ready. It's happening! But one thing that we noticed during the release is that there's a new dependency on Astor, ASTOR, which is a AST manipulation library. Not all that different than some of the ones that I've written. And it's used to implement a new assertion passes hook. Where basically, like, if an assertion is correct, it will call this hook with some arguments. Among them, one of them is supposed to be the original assertion expression. But as you can see, it doesn't quite do that exactly right. But we also saw that if you had this with the current code, we were able to fix it so that the parentheses didn't get gobbled, but it just gobbled some of our parentheses, which is not the best. But I think I can make it reproduce the original source exactly. I'm going to try and do that. And I actually kind of was working on this earlier. Did I accidentally check in a T directory? No, okay. But I'm gonna do this from scratch again, just so you guys can see how I would have gone through this. Also, I didn't complete the whole thing, but I'm gonna steal this. So let me just set up a testing directory. So we can look at that as well when we get some downtime. Okay, so pytest.ini. So you have to opt into this new hook because it's experimental. Enable assertion pass hook equals true. And we need to define an assertion pass hook. Pytest assertion pass. Find line number, original explanation. And we're just going to put a breakpoint there because that's how I was inspecting it before. And then we need to make a test, I have a to-do for myself even, and a weird encoding file, which I have to look at as well. So I'm just going to put a couple of assertions here. And the way this works right now is that assertion is fine, but this one gets rewritten slightly. Oh, we have a bunch of ugly frames in here. Our assertion in t.py looks like this, but this one dot has been transformed into this, and ideally we would get this whole chunk here as the original expression. So in order to do that, I was looking at using the tokenization. And I had started working on that by basically doing all of this shenanigans, but I'm gonna actually work on this standalone and then put it into pytest because I think it'll be easier to work with. So the way I'm gonna do that is just make a get asserts function or file. And define a little command line tool. Actually, we can just do one file at a time. That'll be easy enough. So so I know I'm gonna need tokenize. I'm pretty sure I need IO. We're just gonna take the first argument. In order to tokenize source in Python, you have to read it as binary. Is F. And then we're gonna make a function that gets assertion expressions. Which will be dictionary int to stir. And we're basically going to tokenize the source and then walk through it until we find assertions and then collect all of their information. Build some sort of state machine. Key print. We have our basic structure here, and if we run this now, Python it. What did I call it? Did I not? Oh. Of course, should actually syntax check. Okay, so we have a little test harness. It's not doing anything yet. You can just see that it's returning none. So now we want to start working on this. And I happen to remember this is the signature for tokens. We're going to use the tokenize module, and it takes a function which reads a line, so we can use this. And each thing that it each token that it yields is the token type, so things like string, operator, etc. The source, so the text that represents that token. It then has the start line number and offset, and then the end line number and offset. We don't care about the end, so we're gonna leave that out. And then it has the full line that that token appears on. And basically we're gonna be looking for a name token that says assert. So if TP equals tokenize.name and source is equal to assert, then we should see our assertion token. But we basically, let's see, Python 3 tokenize. So these are the tokens that we'll see, and this is the first assert. And basically, what we'll do is when we see an assert token, the next token that we see will be the start of the expression. So this one will be the start of the expression, and then we know that statement ends when we see a new line token. So in this case, it would be this chunk is the assertion expression. Whereas in this assert, the next token we see is this operator, and we get a bunch of NLs, but we don't get a new line until here, and so we would gobble all of this. So that's the basic approach that I want to make with this state machine. I'm a little less familiar with tokenize.tokenize than I am with my own tokenize tool, but I think we'll be able to figure it out. So if we see an assert, then saw assert is true. Otherwise, if we saw assert, then this is where we would be at the position where the rest of the line, or everything until a new line token happens. Use our good friend breakpoint here. Otherwise, if tokenize.newline newline you also want to collect the lines. Let's just do the saw assert first. We have tokenize dot should be number. Yeah. The source is the string 1, the line number is 2, and the offset is 11. So what I happen to know about this offset is it's a UTF-8 byte offset, which changes. It's kind of annoying because we load as just arbitrary bytes, and those bytes could have whatever encoding that they want, and what the machinery does is it decodes those with whatever encoding, and then encodes into UTF-8. So this offset is kind of meaningless in the original file. Fortunately, I think we can still use it in our file because we know that the backing store is using UTF-8, and so we can just un-UTF-8 it. So we have this is our line, for instance, and line 11 colon happens to do the right thing right now. But what we actually need to do is line.encode and then do offset colon and then decode. So that'll get us the rest of this line. I think. And I think I need to keep track of all the lines that we see, maybe? Maybe? Like the line numbers that we've seen. Lines.append. Otherwise, if we are in lines and line number not in scene lines, oh, we can just change this to assert line number equals none. We do actually have to keep track of this assert line number because that's part of our return value here. We can reuse that state here. Assert line number equals line number. Assert line number is not none. And not lines. Oh, I feel like I have to draw this state machine because it's getting confusing. Okay, so we start with kind of our looking for assert state. Hey, what's up, Albertinism? How's your Thursday / Friday going? So we started looking for assert, and then we transition. We see assert. Should just use the. We see assert, which transitions us into the state where we collect the first line of the assert. And then any token that we see the token on next line, or on new line. If we see any token on new line, actually this isn't that helpful. I'm just gonna write the code. Never mind. We're not drawing. I think this is just confusing me more. So let's go back to code. So if the line number is not none, so that means we found the assert token. Maybe I can just keep track of the previous token. Yeah, let's do that. Although we already need that state, so let's just reuse the state. Okay, I'm going back and forth. Okay, so we have no lines, so we add the line that we're on. Otherwise, we have lines, and the line number is not in the scene lines. But we need a state before this. If we're at the new line, that means we're at the end of that expression. So we need to assign into ret the assertion line number equal to the lines, and then we need to reset the state. So lines equals this, assert line number equals none, and scene lines equals set. I think that's it. Famous last word. That has no append. Indeed, it does not. We want to add, not append. Why did we get none there? Oh, I see. So we only want to be doing these things if we're in an assertion. That's why we got none here. But we did get, on line 2 we saw an expression of 1, and on line 3 we got that whole expression. But I think it works. One thing that I wanted to try was... let's try this first. Be able to do this, even though it's weird, we still pick up the right expression. But the other edge case is having non-ASCII characters inside this. Let's see if I can open up an IRC bot and get me some non-ASCII letters. Let's see. Create emoji Greek alpha. Green A, that's not what I wanted. Greek A. Oh, my font is broken, so I have no idea which character is which. Greek letter A. I only know that this one, I only know this one works because I've used it before. So we can put this... My syntax highlighting doesn't understand it. These ones are normal A's here. But these ones are Greek capital letter alpha. Pretty hard to tell the difference, right? Make sure that still works. It does not. Okay, so there's something wrong there. Let's figure out. I mean, it's clearly this here. This is line 7. The offset is 28. If it's just base characters, let's see. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's definitely byte offset. That's weird. Why is the number bogus? What? That contradicts everything that I thought I knew about this. Huh. Maybe it's already the text offset. Maybe I don't need to do this. Does it work the same way in Python 3.5? That's the minimum version that I have to support. It does. Okay, well then I don't have to do this in code dance. That's, I guess, good. Not what I remember, but it seems to work, so... Oops. It seems to work in PyPy also, so... I don't know. I don't know why that works, but it is what I wanted to do, though. So this is a function which will retrieve a mapping from line number to assertion expression, which is pretty sweet. So let's bring this into pytest now. Oh, that was my C5 tab. We'll get back to that. So first we'll just get rid of everything that references Astor. 3, 4, 5, 7, trivial. Oops. We have this function which we can unit test. Good. Does pytest do any typing imports? It does not, so I guess we won't introduce types today. But one day I will add type annotations to pytest, and then we can have mypy and all sorts of nice things. Okay, so this is a function which takes the source and gives us our assertion expressions, and I wanted to make a help developer here that, oh, this is not the right class. Oh, it is the right class. Okay, never mind. Has the right class. Perfect. Do those type annotations because they don't require the typing module. So, need to pass through this source here. And I want a cache of this value up here because it's going to be expensive to compute. And hopefully sometimes we can get away with not computing it. Should I just make it? Yeah, we'll just assume that we can properly parse things. That way it'll expose bugs instead of... It'll crash and expose the bug instead of... size equals 1. That's all I need there. But now we want to actually test this, or like demo it. Functools is not defined. We need import. And we probably need to import a bunch of other stuff too. Tokenize and probably IO. Now, if I remember correctly, I need to actually delete the pycache directories, which is a little bit annoying. Init missing required argument source. Oh, I forgot to thread through the source. I forgot though. What is that about? 5, 6. Oh, this should be self. That seems to have worked. The chair came under. About this one. Cool. Great too. Who's not fine? That assertion did not pass. Cool. I think that works. It's a little bit weird, but I think it satisfies the case. We'll see what the original author of this feature thinks. I should write some tests for this. Let's see what Bruno did in terms of tests, because I know he made a yard to solve this. This was the original fix. Oh, that is useful. That is very useful. So let's look for the other tests that do this. Take this and put it in a function. What is mad up here? Like my editor highlighting better. I feel like I do this whenever I modify a test. I like scroll up and then fix some other thing. This one is really weird. Actually makes me think I should indent the... There. Getting distracted. This one. Tester.make ini. We'll make a function, enable flag. Test hook not called without command option. Insertion pass should not be called, and hence formatting should not occur if there is no hook declared for that. Okay, so just mocked out the hook and then made a conf test with the broken hook, just to make sure it didn't get called. Okay, that seems good. Insertion pass should not be called. There's no hook declared. Okay. Good. So this collects the arguments as an exception. A little bit weird. Storage, explanation, line number. Okay, so the original here is actually formatted differently. So this test should already be failing. Or all the tests are failing. Rewrite asserts for missing one. Oh no. No. Okay. This is an easy fix. Yeah, this is the test that I expect to be failing. What is going on here? Where's the actual assertion? Oh, here we go. This is unmatched, and that's because we have this now. So should be able to just remove this white space and get back to passing test. Although 2 failed, so one other that I have to fix. This token is not called without the command option. Why is this failing? What? We got one failed test. What? Why did that get called? Did I accidentally enable it in the test? Oh yeah, I did. Why did I do that? Oh, enable equals false. Didn't read, and assumed it was enable equals true. Okay, so I should add a regression test for the particular case that I found. That's useful to point out here. We can just do enable flag and hook and put this, but we use it down here. Oh well, it's good enough. Hey, what's up, your boy Jay? How's your day going? Okay, let's Assertion passed. Should see parentheses. And then something else here. What else should we see there? We'll see that in a bit. We'll take that. And fill out the rest of that assertion message. Got two things. This one's a X. Assertion pass should not be called. Oh, dang it. Okay. Make an enable hook function then. Actually, would the pytest way to do this be fixtures? Probably. Probably flag on, hook on. This just has the flag enabled. And this one has neither. Your boy Jay is pretty tilted. Been calling my teacher all week and he isn't picking up or responding. That sucks. I'm doing alright. I had a pretty good day at work today. We had a service that we ported to Python 3 and it had some issues in production, which happens from time to time. Ended up being like this weird quirk with JSON schema where basically we're using JSON schema to load references from disk, and turns out that if those disk paths contain ... or if they don't contain a trailing slash, then JSON schema will just refuse to load them. And there were no tests that covered this case, and so we broke it in prod. It ended up not being a huge deal. It just blocked like some internal people from updating some maps. But then they fixed it, or then the team that owned the service fixed it, and they were able to update the maps. It ended up being fine in the end. No one missed any deadlines. But it was a little bit annoying. And today I rolled out the very first Python 3.7 service at Lyft, and hopefully tomorrow I'll have some time to write up some docs so that everyone else can run Python 3.7. That was pretty cool. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful. Mostly just did my normal grind. That was my day today. I went biking this morning and after work. That was cool too. Didn't get run over. Didn't have any drivers try and rage past me. It was good. But yeah, other than that, a pretty normal Thursday, I guess. Although I guess normally on Thursdays I go climbing, but this week I went climbing on Monday, Wednesday instead of Monday, Thursday. Sounds like a good day in my book, especially because I didn't have to work on that. Yeah. Hook on is not found. Is this not how this works? Oh. I test that fixture, of course. Okay. Position past F1. And that's what we should see. Okay. And I should add the test case for that Greek letter one that we saw. How do I do that? I guess I need to grab that thing again. Use the Greek letters. They are. Can we Latin 1 them? Probably not. Can we CP 1252 them? Probably not. I wonder if there's any Latin 1 characters that are representable in variable. This is an image. Why are you not text? Missing characters. Also not what I want. I just want the character tail. Here we go. And I have this in a variable name. We can! Cool! XCO. I name that function. I'm gonna write some tests for the get assertion expers. Get assertion expers. First and expected. Can you explain the get X and get Y commands? I'm trying to combine two different pictures side by side. Oh, in Jython? Oh, buddy. What do we have here? Get X, this class? What is this? Frame also inherits 14 accessor methods. Amazing. I'm not familiar with those two methods, but I'll help you figure out what they do. I'm pretty sure what they do is you're building like a UI thing, right? So you have like a window that is your kind of like drawing sphere. I think what it is if you have like an object that you place onto that, this distance, I want that to be brushy. Black. This distance will be get Y and brush. And this distance will be get X. If my guess is right. And more specifically, they're trying to represent the coordinate. They're trying to represent this coordinate right here. If this is correct at all. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty small. That sounds right since the pictures probably don't share the same dimensions. Yeah, so you should be able to get all of the dimensions and all these points by using the various functions. So this will be, assume that this actually goes all the way to the edge here. So I think you'll be able to use get width and get height. And so like if you wanted the coordinate of this point right here, it would be c.get x plus c.get width for the x coordinate, and then just box c.get y plus c.get height. And this is how I would indent that. This should refer to this point right here, if I'm right. This is how most other graphics libraries are set up, so I assume that this works the same. But hopefully that helps. Do you want this image? I don't know if you want this image. I'm gonna give you this image anyway because I already started giving you this image. So there's my solid MS Paint drawing. But hopefully that helps. Oh dang it! I lost my characters. Source and expected. So if we have no source, we should expect no output. If we have an inline assert, we should expect on line 1 to have the assert expression of 1. Black is going to reformat the hell out of this, I can already tell. If we have multiple asserts, I think this will get the new one at the end of it. Okay, so this should give us on line 2, we have an assert of 1, and on line 3, we have the assert of 1 plus 2. And then we have to do our choose an encoding pause the byte offsets to be different. We should still be able to retrieve that value. And we should show the same with UTF-8 as well. And we didn't show multi-line assertions, let's do that. This should give us an assertion on line 2 that is a parenthesis, and then all of this, and then including the comments. That ending new line. these are supposed to be bytes. That's an N. This one becomes bytes, that one becomes bytes. Okay. Let's actually just fill these in as pytest.param so I don't need comments. And then the test names will be nice. 8 encoded on first line. Line 1 encoded on first line. Multiple assertions. The trivial case. .param. Single assert statement not on own line. I know I'm re-indenting this, and I know black is just going to come through and put it all back, but you know what? I want to be able to read it while I'm writing it, so that's what I'm going to do. There. I'm surprised that's a syntax. Oh, because it's part of the assert statement. I see. Okay, that worked. Remove aster and reproduce the original assertion expression. Alright, let's look at how badly it mutilated my tests. Oh, that's so gross. Why would you do this? I guess I'll switch them to triple quoted strings. Denver. I'm just going to tell black to shove it. Get wrecked, black. I guess I can change the single quotes to double quotes. We'll do that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Double quotes. No, no, what did it change? Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, so remove that changelog, we remove aster. Change the signature of rewrite asserts. It's not a public function, is it? I hope not. No. It is not. Good. Good, good, good. This function is kind of useless. Yeah, that gets rid of that. And the test still passed. It's good. Another weekday stream. Yeah, it is, Mindful Fox. Another weekday stream. I figured I'd get as many in this week as possible because I'm probably not going to get any in next week. So I'm getting them all out of the way. Well, I really enjoy doing this. I'm not getting them out. Whatever. I'm doing more this week because I feel motivated to, I guess. Hey, what's up, Anonymous BR111? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. That's not how that works. Yeah. Come on, bro. Yeah, I know. No, I just had some evening time, so I figured I'd stream. Also, I had some stuff that I thought was kind of interesting, and so I'm hacking on that. The first one's done, and then let me show you this hilarious bug that I found today in Python. That's kind of my fault in a roundabout way. After I make this. Five 510. Directly. Original assertion, source, expression, directly. I could make this even simpler by including the whole line of the original assertion. And then the indentation would be preserved as well. What do you think of that? Oh, I should have looked at my code before I press submit. What if it's crap? Deleted that, imported some stuff, changed the signature, this state machine function thing, and then changing out this bit. But yeah, this R strip was breaking things. In theory, the L strip could break stuff, but didn't look into that at all. Rewrote some strings so they were more readable. And then tested this. Alright, that looks fine. But yeah, let me show you this funny bug. I already showed it early in the stream, but there was nobody here, so there. Whatever, I will show it again. So this little Python file here is an assignment from a variable to an f string, but this f string is invalid syntax because this is an empty placeholder, which isn't valid in Python for reasons, I guess. Kind of makes sense why it's not valid. It's a little nonsensical. But if you run this in, well, let's do Python 3.6 first. You get this assertion error, which points at the end of the string, which isn't super useful. The error isn't actually on line 2, it's actually on line 1. But the machinery doesn't know any better than that. And you get the same output in 3.7, of course. This is Ubuntu's shenanigans. I don't know why they included the apport hook. In the Dead Snakes package, it's not there, so their fault and not mine. Are you trolling me, Mindful Fox? Are you messing with me, bud? Mindful Fox is referencing the this issue, which actually the author got back to me and like had a much more, had a much more reasonable thing to say than last time. Doesn't work in Jupyter Notebook. Doesn't work in Jupyter Notebook. Because the first saying it the first time was not enough. But then they actually like gave me a decent reproduction. Which unfortunately future f strings only works on files, so REPLs doesn't work for it. So then I gave him an idea like how you could monkey patch with IPython and make it pre-process stuff. And so it's possible to make this work. I don't care about Jupyter, so I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, this bug. So get this basically the same syntax error exception in 3.6, 3.7. In 3.8 you get something exactly the same, where it prints out a whole bunch of space. An absolute ton of white space. Oops. I made that mistake last time too. Yeah, somewhere around 48,000 spaces. Which is just pretty awesome. And the reason that it's kind of my fault is I made a change. I actually made the change which broke it while fixing something else. Way back when. Somewhere in here. Here it is. Fix line number and column offset for multi-line string token. I basically took someone else's patch and just applied it. Which, from a C perspective... From a C perspective, it basically just adds this multi-line start assignment here. It adds this multi-line start, which points at the very beginning of the string, and then every new line after that separate. But it turns out that that was insufficient in this case, in the syntax error case, because this actually has the wrong value, because the string buffer gets reallocated or whatever. And so I made this little patch today. That's failing because I need to fix it. I made this little patch which adjusts the syntax or the multi-line start position so that it's correct. But I need to figure out which test is failing and why that's failing. Whoa, there's tab complete for module names? That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. Test command line script. What? Do I have a syntax error? I have a syntax error. My syntax. Oh, that's so dumb. I didn't even run the test before I left. Oh, they're byte strings. Okay. I don't know why I didn't bother running this test. I could have sworn that I did, but clearly not if I if I had a syntax error in it. Probably spent too much time just thinking about the changelog instead. Oh, did I do my slice wrong? I bet I did my slice wrong. Hey, what's up? Coding? I feel like I'm never gonna get your name right. Oh, my slice is wrong. Wrong direction. But this should work now. Famous last words. Sweet. That's the point. The name's designed to confuse people. Perfect. Well then, I'm just gonna decide how I'm gonna pronounce it, and that's gonna be it. You're gonna be Tsoding, and deal with it. Feel free to decide. Cool. If you have any preference, just let me know, and I will switch to that. Just be consistent. Yeah. I'm all about consistency, right? This stage. Hopefully that fixes things. Okay, so that's this patch, which I don't know why I thought this code was okay the first time. Did I not push? I didn't refresh, that's what it was. But that's what I get for not running my own tests. If you ask me, it should be pronounced just like you did, but with a thick Russian accent. I don't know that I could possibly do a thick Russian accent. I feel like it would be either very insensitive or very incorrect. Maybe I'll work on it, and then I'll try it with a Russian accent. But I'm not gonna venture there today. Cool. Oh, I love when people fix typos. It's all great. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, comrade. How did people find these? I never understand. Also, how did they fail tests? Oh, it looks good to me. I have to turn off my cat GIF generator because apparently I angered someone on the CPython bug tracker, and so I make sure to remove it whenever I +1 stuff on CPython. Someone was like, they burned my eyes or something like that. Ugh. Well. Path info, add Windows long paths. Oh, this is part of the dollar? No. What is... Oh, test. But those are not the things that I wanted to do today. What else did I want to do today? Okay, so we fixed the pytest bug, in theory. We'll see what the other maintainers and the guy who wrote it says. Remove fallback from inspect wrapper. Now that master branch only has to be compatible with 3.5, we can simplify the following code. Yes, indeed. Good issue for a first-time contributor. True. So if anyone in the chat wants to contribute to pytest, here's a good one to do. In fact, we could probably. How many get-atters do we have? How many of these are stuff that are Python 2, Python 3? Not too many, actually. This one is. Instance. Instance can be none on which test. What is that sentence trying to say? Instance on which test was collected. Instance on which test... Oh, the grain vendor right there. What goes on during a release? It's actually super easy now. It used to be a little bit more work. I can show you what that looks like. So we have this how-to release, which basically gives us a step-by-step run book to run a release, which is a lot of steps, but most of them are pretty easy. I'll show you. I'll actually show you with 4.6. I'm not going to actually release it, but I'll show you all the steps that I would do. 4.6 is our maintenance branch, so it's a little bit different. Just get to a clean slate. So we start by creating a release branch for the version that we're going to release. So let's say, what was the last 4.6 release? 4.6.3, so origin 4.6-b release 4.6.4. So you make a branch like that. Then we would use talks to run the release code. Talks-e release 4.6.4, which does a bunch of stuff. Serial Guy 80 says, I spent like 3 hours at work just messing around with Oh My Zeesh. I've definitely had days like that where I spend way too much time working on like dot files or like some silly script, or honestly like even the cat script that I showed you, like the ship it script. There's someone else's PR. This cat gift script. I actually spent. Oh, it didn't work. What? Do I not? Oh, maybe I don't have it installed in this browser. I definitely do. Yeah. This auto GIF populator, when I click approve, I spent work time to do that, so pretty choice. Also, I can show you another thing that I spent work time on. It actually was part of my like promo package, which I think is hilarious. Got mentioned as part of my promotion proposal. Let's see, how can I show you this without giving away Lyft information? Sure, that seems fine. So this is Lyft Slack. Make this window a little bit so you can see it. Increase the font size. So I made this slash command that's, well, you can already see it here because everything that I talked to myself was just my, is just this command. But I made a big emoji command because normally like you can do emojis that are like party dumpster fire. And they show up this big in Slack. But I was like, that's not big enough. Oh, and they're even smaller if you have text next to them. So like small emoji, big or medium emoji, and then I was like, no, we need big emoji. So I wrote this very simple slash command that I hope to open source at some point, but I haven't done it yet. That responds with a bot. Why didn't it expand? Oh, there we go. So you get small emoji, medium emoji, and big emoji. But it's great because you can just figure out what all of the emojis are. So like, I saw Rect at like a very small size, and I was like, what the heck is that? And apparently it's Miley Cyrus on a former employee. But I don't know. Big emoji's pretty good. Yes, Yeet. There's also Yeet 5. They changed the numbers. Oh, it's Yeet with 3 T's, 3 E's. I mean, I like this one. That's my Yeet of choice. I also really like this one, which is just an arrow that points up and in jitters. We use that a lot. But anyway, that's big emoji. I spent work time on that. But the thing is, like, I still got my OKRs done for the half or whatever, so it wasn't like I was wasting too much company time. Got paid for messing with Oh My Zeesh. Perfect. Yeah. It's a good time. Long-term productivity. Thumbs up. Live demo. Yeah. I'm XNilo. How in the world did I switch to an old account? Oh, Serial Guy's got multiple accounts. Used yeet in a work email the other day while explaining what was happening to an incoming connection. Only word I could think of at the time. That's great. Yeah, but the reason it came up in my promo is it was like Anthony displays company culture or some shit like that. It's like, look at this cool thing that I built to help developers waste more time. I don't know. It gets an insane amount of use. Like it's very, very popular. I also made. What else did I do? Oh, I spent a bunch of time like building user scripts as well. Can I show these? I think I can show these. Let's see. I'm not gonna log in that browser though. So I have a bunch of user scripts that automate portions of the Git workflow to make that not suck as much. Yeah, I can show these. There's nothing. So I made a bunch of Grease Monkey scripts to make GitHub, Jenkins, and other stuff. Not editing that. To make a bunch of other stuff go really quickly. So the first thing is we have. Oh, I guess you'll see the title of these PRs. Okay, they're not a big. So we have these GitHub bots that drive a lot of our workflow, and one of the things that you can do with a GitHub bot is meow someone, which sounds really funny out loud, but it's basically like asking them to do a code review of your code, and so you meow at them, and it sends them like a Slack message and assigns them and does a bunch of stuff. But whenever I make a review, I very frequently make a review on other teams, which I don't know their team, and I don't know their practices or whatever, and I don't know who to ask for a review. But you can also meow a Slack channel, and fortunately we have a Slack channel in a little metadata file in all of our repositories. And so this adds a little cat button on the GitHub page that I can click on the cat button, and it'll automatically detect which person owns this repository, and then put a GitHub comment on here. And then I can type out more text below it and press submit. That's AutoMeow. Clone PR, this one's actually really useful. I actually think I might open source this outside of Lyft. But it adds a button here that's Clone PR. We'll get to Rebase PR in a minute. But Clone PR, when you click on the button and then paste it into a terminal, it'll clone that. It'll clone this pull request and CD into a directory for you. This one is mostly convenience / annoyance. When you have single sign-on enabled for GitHub, which we do at Lyft, whenever it prompts you to log in, it sends you to this like useless blank screen page with a green button in the middle, and I hate clicking useless green buttons, and so it auto clicks the green button for me. Just so I don't have to worry about it. Oh yes, and it's I was told that I couldn't name it what the original script was called, so I cleverly renamed it into a very thin veil of what it actually was before. This one, we have our deployments are currently done through Jenkins pipelines, and you run them by pasting in a SHA and then clicking this build button. But this build button usually takes you to this completely useless page that isn't helpful at all. But this script automatically redirects you to the deploy pipeline, which is the actually useful page to land on. And then the last thing... Oh no, two more. Yeah. Last thing is this remeow script, which like sometimes you meow teams and they just don't respond at all. And so when they don't respond within a certain amount of time, I click this button and it will edit this comment, it adds a space to the end of it, and apparently that's enough to trigger the GitHub webhooks. And anytime a webhook is triggered, it triggers another response. So the bots will comment below and send them another Slack message. Then there's rebase PR, which is similar to the clone PR. It gives you a command that allows you to clone and then push the rebase branch if it succeeds. Oh yeah, an SQ button. So we have emoji-driven development, which I think is a little bit grown, like, ugh, emojis. But I don't know, it's company culture or whatever. But I hate typing out the emojis, it takes too long. So I made buttons that show up on the comment dialog, and if you click on any of the buttons, it'll automatically post them. The hamburger is please retest my branch. Because it used to be, well, it's also hammer, but if you type :HAM, it tab completes to hamburger before it tab completes to hammer, so they just made hamburger one as well. And then the ship it script, which you already saw. Gives you that. But anyway, I spent a bunch of times working on these productivity scripts while I work. So sometimes I can work on stuff that's not directly relevant. Anthony is a company culture vulture. Culture vulture. Are these Chrome extensions? Kind of. They're Grease Monkey scripts. So, don't want to do. Weird. So they're a user script, and there's a standard for these. The Chrome extension is Tamper Monkey, but in Firefox it's Grease Monkey. Grease Monkey is the original. And you basically just write a little bit of JavaScript. This is the one that does the cat shippets. So the way it works is on the page load, it loads this URL, which is the page with all the ship it gifs and the not ship it gifs, including the stop sign. But loads this page. Grabs parses the DOM of that page, and then finds all of the ship it images. This selector used to be wrong, so it used to just select all of the images, and then it randomly picked a don't ship it image once, and not the best. But yeah, grabs the ship it images out, and then it adds an event listener for click on anywhere on the body, and if the thing that is being clicked on is the approve button, then it'll find the pull request body, review body, and stick a random URL in there inside of a markdown thing. Google Wave was built entirely on XML HTTP requests. XML HTTP request is fine. This is also not the XML HTTP request that you're probably used to, because this one has capital XML H. This one is lowercase XML capital H, which I don't know why it's different, but it works slightly differently. This is the Grease Monkey XML HTTP request. But that's that. I basically wrote a bunch of scripts like that just inject script on load, and it works pretty well. Still failing? Nope, all passing now. Sweet. So hopefully someone will review this patch. Someone else found the same bug. What's the actual issue? Raise not silent warning for invalid escape sequence. Back in 3.6, a silent warning was added for all invalid escape sequences. It is suggested. It's bigger so you guys can fit. It was suggested that it would remain a silent warning for 2 releases, and then be upgraded to non-silent for 2 releases, and then become a syntax error. Is it worth going to PyCon if you don't really know folks in the community? Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of different things that you can get out of PyCon whether or not you know people. In fact, like the first PyCon I went to, I knew literally no one. It's a great place to like meet new people and like talk to people that like even if you don't know them, you can get to know them. But also there's a lot of great talks, and like honestly, anytime you go to a conference, like you're gonna have some good talk. You can also end up like at the small discussion groups, and those are usually pretty good as well. But yeah, I would definitely like if you like Python, like PyCon is great. I'm also wearing a PyCon shirt right now, so I figured that's why you asked. But that's why. I don't know where I was going with it. Is it weird I'm solving my command lines with errors? Not that it makes much sense, but I keep getting deeper in my command line, but a new problem comes up every time. I mean, it seems kind of normal. Like, anytime I run into bugs, it's like fix one bug, then fix the next bug, then the bug after that, then the bug after that, and eventually it works. What did you learn from this PyCon? It was all kind of a blur. The good thing is I put my... That works. Just thank YouTube and have it go to my channel. The good thing is I put a... What is it? I put up a video, or like I streamed my thoughts about PyCon, I think, in this one. So what it would do is if the comment was a no QA comment, it would remove the explaining yes QA fix there. This last weird listening to myself. Also, my hair is so much shorter than. It was just happenstance. Oh, this is when I started talking about PyCon. But it was a good time. I met a bunch of people, and for me it was a little different because like I knew some of the community, and like there were certain people that I was like, I need to make sure I talk to this person. I need to make sure I talk to this person. Oh, this person's here. And like some people, it was just like I met them and I was like, oh, I've seen you on GitHub. I had no idea that I wanted to meet you, but now let's spend some time and talk about stuff. And I think part of like one of the coolest parts about PyCon this year for me was going to we did an open space for Twitch and YouTube streamers, and I say we me and one other streamer, and we weren't super sure that like anyone was going to show up. We're like, if 6 people show up, we'll consider it a success. And it ended up being that like 30 or 40 people showed up to this open space, and like a lot of people had a lot of inputs on different approaches to streaming and like what stuff works, what stuff doesn't work. And I think that was like my favorite part about PyCon. I didn't necessarily learn anything from that, but it was a good experience. What did I learn? I did play with the, I did learn some like neat stuff with, zoom that in a little bit. Oops. This is a circuit Python, which is basically it boots into Python and you can write some simple code to manipulate some LEDs and stuff. So I learned how to play with that, and that was kind of cool. Drugs. If someone will have one of those 3-hour tutorials on async IO, I'll sign up. I'm sure there will be. I think there was several things about async IO at this one, and there's bound to be more as time goes on. What's up, Toddy? Oh yeah, I was explaining the pytest release process before I went down a rabbit hole. That passed. Get that. Close to the tab. Dang it. Yeah, so the first step is check out a branch. The second step is run this release thing, which does a bunch of stuff. Basically, it runs this regen doc tool, which pytest has a bunch of like example test files and then example outputs, and regen doc reruns pytest and then sticks their output into the docs, and so it does that here. And sometimes there's differences, like this one's pretty annoying, and like this line flops back and forth depending on who releases it. And then regen doc has no whitespace control, so we then run pre-commit to clean up the whitespace, and it ends up making a commit that looks like this, where we aggregate all of the changelogs into the main changelog file, we delete the old changelogs. There's a little like release blurb, which we use for announcements later in the directions. Hey, what's up, Toddy? My connection is very poor today. Oh no. Well, I'm only streaming at 720p because I rarely get the encoders. Do I have encoders today? I do have encoders today. Wow. Huh. It's weird because I only have like 6 viewers. Usually it's like I'll have 20 viewers and not have the encoders, but I guess you can downgrade today, in theory. But yeah, so it just like automates this commit. Then we push that commit, which I'm not going to do, to a pull request. And depending on which branch or which release type you're doing, either you target master or you target our maintenance branch. Then when the PR is approved and the tests pass, we tag that version and push the tag. The tag triggers the CI pipeline to automatically release for us, so we don't have to manually interact with PyPI. I don't even have credentials to interact with PyPI, but I do have permission to push a tag. And then once that completes, we merge the pull request. We have this copy-paste set of commands to backport to forward port. Yeah, forward port the changelog from older, from the maintenance release branch, which we've had to do this a couple of times. That's why I wrote these commands down. And then the last thing is pretty easy. You just we copy and paste this blob here and send it in an email, and then come up with something to post on Twitter. 33 seconds of latency. Wow, that's pretty unfortunate. Unknown command ping. Oh, I see ping. Yeah, I haven't implemented the bang subscribers command yet, Mindful Fox. I did start working on it, but then I got frustrated with some like, what was it? I think it was like some permission thing. Oh yeah, it's got code reformat. Huh. Wait, what? Oh, I won't get diff. Yeah, so I like figured out the URL for this and the way to retrieve them, but haven't figured out the right OAuth token that I need to send. And honestly, I probably can't work on the permissions part on stream because then you'll see my tokens again. But I hope to fix this at some point. Hey, what's up, Rogelio171? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. Tokens again, yeah. I'm gonna leak my token again. I've done it twice now. I know I've leaked my coveralls token many times because their website is just kind of trash and really easy to just like, oops, you're streaming. There's your token for everyone else to see. I leaked my chatbot token once too. I didn't realize, so I thought that when you raided someone on Twitch, it stopped your stream there, but it very much does not. Your stream continues to go, and so I had a video where I was just like, there was just like a half an hour of me just like staring at my computer screen, clicking around, before I realized that, oh, OBS is still recording, I should close this. But during that, I was like hacking on the bot and actually working on this subscribers thing and like pasting my tokens in, and so I had to rotate all those and change all the passwords, and but I won't make that mistake again. I'm sure it won't be the last time that I leak my tokens on stream, but I'll at least not forget to stop the stream when I'm done. That was just silly. But yeah, what else can I work on? There's a bug that someone reported on Talks, but I don't know how to reproduce. They're using Python 2.7. I don't know what 1602 is, but I assume they mean 1604. And looking at their install here, they've just straight installed Talks to their system. So let's see if I can reproduce this. I don't expect. I don't really expect to be able to. Run rm Ubuntu Xenial. What are you saying, Tati? What? Why is this not working? Oh, it's -ti, not -ti. We need to install Python and pip and dev, which is going to install all these packages. It's taking a while. Sorry, I'm just checking my checking the Discord. Oh my goodness. This got posted. Goldfig Labs, version control for settings pages. And they show Slack. Why though? Each change of team banks has a permanent URL. Like version control for clicking on pages? Like some crazy It is not an insult. Maybe your translation is off, Tati, because the way that sounds is definitely sounds like an insult. I mean, maybe if you used deviant, it might be less of an insult, but still, like, that word has the last word in your sentence has a very negative connotation in English. Oh, this seems like interesting. Why is this taking so long? Oh, because I'm downloading it. Why is this so slow? I have gigabit Ethernet. I don't need this. Oh, that's the VirtualBox adapter. Send and receive. What am I downloading? Do I have like a stream open somewhere? This is like 300 kilobytes, but this is saying I'm downloading at like 6 megabytes per second. Which is more than I'm uploading. What's going on? Steam updating? It is? Update queued. Scheduled for tomorrow. No, it's not Steam. What's using my network? Is there a way to see? Processes. Network. Oh, here we go. VirtualBox. I expect OBS to be doing some. What's Chrome doing? Oh. Weird. I guess whatever. Whatever. But yeah, I'm going to try and reproduce their talks issue by installing to the system, which I would not recommend. That's what virtual items are for. But it looks like what's happening is Talks is recursively making Talks environments. And is broken on figuring out whether itself is installed or not. Which is unfortunate. Oh, I forgot to install a text editor. Oh, someone pinged me on Twitter this morning to ask for help with pre-commit, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, happy to help. And they ended up figuring out their problem before I could help them. And it turns out they're a nano user also. There's literally dozens of us. Is there a way to uninstall GNOME and install Deepin Desktop in Fedora? Because I uninstalled GNOME and then installed Deepin and GNOME reinstalled. If I remember, GNOME is pretty intimately tied. Like, there's a lot of stuff that uses GNOME, whether or not you're actually using that as your window manager. But I don't know the answer for Fedora. I have not played with Fedora enough to know how that works. So, I don't know. Sorry. That was my other paste buffer. It's the minimum. We're not installing NumPy. No one has time for that. Or Siphon. No one has time for that. I think we just do this. This. And they probably had a setup.py. Setup.py, and then they just did pip install talks, I guess. And then talks-e 527, 278. That seemed to work just fine, so I don't know what their setup was about, because this one looks fine. Maybe they did apt install Python talks? Actually, before that, shoot. You just delete all of this, right? Right? What could go wrong? Yeah, I think that works. And then bit freeze. Well, I think I'm leaving. My internet connection is very poor today. Well, thanks for stopping by. Sorry your internet's being a little butt. But hopefully I'll see you around. Alright, so let's install Hux this way. Oh, that's gonna install that. Why is it installing Python 3? What if we do... transitional package? I don't think that's gonna make a difference because that's gonna install it for Python 3. But if we look at their stack trace here, actually, no. Oh, using talks from this pack. Did one. Literally their entry point. Like they're on latest version for everything. I don't know. No idea. This is working just fine for me. So hopefully they'll come up with a reproduction, because I can't reproduce it. Oh well. I tried. Try my best. Someone else plus one this. Neither of our reviews matter. We tried though. Oh, Kim from Sydney, Australia. But yeah, I didn't really have any other plans beyond that. I thought I would actually be able to reproduce that and then have something to work on. But guess not. Let's see if there's some other stuff that I can work on. Maybe not. Might be a short stream today. I'm sure there's something I could find to work on, but I don't have nothing I plan to work on. Maybe I'll give you guys your evening back and go work on some other stuff. But yeah, I guess I'll wind down here. Let's see. What's my usual spiel? Oh, if you missed any part of the stream, you can catch the upload on YouTube. It'll usually be available by the next day. And there's also past uploads for previous streams. There's a lot of content here. A ridiculous number of hours if you watched all of it. Some good ones that I liked recently are the Python 3.8 packaging. All of the ones where I work on code formatters I think are pretty interesting too, and I usually answer a lot of like unrelated stuff that's interesting questions. So like the other content's decent, I guess. We also have a Discord, which if you do pound Discord in the chat, that will bring up the link there. So join the Discord if you haven't already. We chat about programming and stuff, and answer questions, and meme about code, and I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy it. And I also announce my streams in there when I do stream. I do have a schedule for streaming, although for the next 2 weeks I'm not going to be able to stream at those times, so much for schedule. But usually I stream on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and sometimes during the week I stream at 6 p.m., which is the stream that you're seeing today. But those are pretty ad hoc, and I don't have a schedule for those. I also announce my streams on Twitter. It's twitter.com/codewithanthony. So much for brand loyalty. If only this were Anthony Wright's code, but unfortunately, Twitter doesn't let you have that many characters, and I didn't want to be Anthony Wright's COD, so close enough, I guess. But that's all I've got for today.